enjoy that the connections that are happening before the meeting, and it's great to see pretty much every chair taken, which is awesome to see. Thank you for spending time with us this afternoon. I know you have a lot of choices of other things to do, and we're grateful that you're here with us. David is off today, so Judy is going to step in and lead us in prayer. I will tell you I have my bag with me. I got to leave at 4. I've got to get to soccer practice today. We have a hard stop at 4, so it's 3:02.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, as we enter this season of Thanksgiving, we come to you now to give you all the praise and glory, because your mercy never ends. We thank you for making us safe. We thank you for providing us all that we need. May we share your generosity and grace with other people we encounter. We thank you for your blessings, for another day, for family, friends, and food on the table. You are the source of all good things. We praise you for the simple things that brings us joy. Help us to keep our eyes on you this day and every day. God, we thank you for the lovely chapel and garden that Rolling Green Village just completed. We give thanks for the generous donors who have made this a reality for our campus. Thank you for the opportunity to gather today to gain knowledge of what is happening in our community and for the blessing of conversations and fellowship. We ask now that you give us the grace to be more like your Son in everything we do, and the power to act in love, peace, patience, and kindness. We ask all of this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry about my voice. I'm still a little nasally, so because I've been sick. A couple of service projects that we're doing this month. We have our Turkey Trot food drive, and our Turkey Trot we do every year. This year is on Monday, November 24th at 10 o'clock. We'll meet up at the Commons. We'll walk and we'll come back and have some refreshments. But we are taking up food for St. Mark's United Methodist Church Food Pantry. We've worked with St. Mark's St. Mark's United Methodist Church. We've given them bags, the bags that y'all donate. That's who we give the bags to, or most of them. Some of them we give to the Humane Society and a couple other places. But they are going to be making Thanksgiving boxes for the people in the community who are needy that do not have Thanksgiving dinner. So what they'll do is they'll have boxes of, anything that you need to make Thanksgiving dinner. And so in the highlights, it does give a description of all the things that they need. I know some people have donated already, which is wonderful. I do have boxes at both front desks. The one at the Commons is kind of in the library area, but there are boxes up there for that. And then also, we have a coat drive for the Miracle Hill homeless shelters. That'll start on Sunday and go through next week. We need gently used or new coats, scarves, and hats for women, men, or children. And so, like I said, same thing for that. There's boxes at both front desks for those, okay? Next Thursday, November 20th, is our licensed area Thanksgiving dinner. That is a time when we invite all of our residents and their families from memory care, skilled nursing, assisted living, and rehab to have a special dinner. It's on us, and we have it up in the Commons. And so a lot of the residents over there never get to eat in the Commons. So I know some of you have told me you would help volunteer for that. If you are volunteering for that, I'm having a meeting on Monday at 3 o'clock in the piano lounge. If you can't come, it's okay, just let me know. But if you are volunteering, meet me up there at 3 on Monday in the piano lounge. But because we are having dinner next Thursday in the Commons for the licensed areas, that means that the dining room will be closed for independent living residents. If you would like dinner, you're welcome to order it at lunchtime, and you can reheat it, I guess, or the bistro will be open from 2 to 4 on Thursday. You're welcome to come up there and eat, okay? Any questions about that? Okay. And then you're gonna hear some of the survey results here in a minute from our resident survey. I think Ryan's gonna talk about that just a little bit. But I want to remind residents that I have a resident activity discussion meeting every third Friday of the month at 11 o'clock. And everyone is invited to come and talk to us about things that you would like to do. If we don't have activities that meet your interest. And the reason I'm saying that is because 2 questions that are on the resident survey we scored a little bit lower on, and one of them is I'm offered activities that meet my interests. Okay? So if there's something that we do not have here that you would like to have, something that you're interested in that we don't have, please, you're welcome to come to my meeting, or you can just call me, or my office door is always open. You can come and let me know. We would be glad to set up some other activity, because if you're interested in it, then maybe somebody else would be interested in it as well. And then the last one, the other one is activities are scheduled at times that work for me. So those are 2 questions that scored lower. So like I said, please come to me if there's something you want to do or at a time that doesn't work for you. We'll be glad to try it, okay? I want to show you, you're going to get your highlights, of course, tomorrow, what is coming up in December. And I know it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it in your highlights. Everything you see on this side of the page, the whole page is full. That's everything that's going to be happening here at Rolling Green in the month of December. That's not counting all of our bus trips and other things. These are just things that are happening here. So make sure you cut this out. Put it on your refrigerator. Put it in your calendar, whatever, because there are things that are going to be happening here every day, sometimes 2 things in a day. And that's even including weekends, okay? Lots of stuff going on. So please, just keep track of that. And then lastly, Emily's going to come up and give you an exciting announcement.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all? All right, so I am very excited to share some news. So I've been listening to everyone over my time here, and I've had many requests and suggestions. And one thing that I've been asked about is personal training. So something that we are going to offer and we're bringing on is a personal trainer. So he's going to be able to offer one-on-one sessions, exercise sessions that are tailored to your needs. And he has over 20 years experience. And so I'm really excited for you to meet him. He's going to do a little introduction, just tell you about himself. And then next Friday at 11 a.m., we will have him talk in more depth. He'll do a presentation where he can give you more information about personal training, what he can offer, and you can kind of discuss with him. So come on up, Adam.
How's everyone doing? I have a pretty loud voice, so I'm just going to scream. All right? My name is Adam, as Emily said. I have about 26 years of experience in the fitness field, and the last 7 is being a senior fitness specialist. So I've really kind of taken the seniors under my wing, so to speak. I really love working with this demographic. I'm just really good on core to strength training, a lot of balance, things that you need going forward in your life. And I'm excited to work with everyone, all right? Time, schedule-wise, that's obviously something that Emily and I will work out. Like she said, I'll talk at the wellness event on Friday, I believe, with a little bit of detail. I'll have a little PowerPoint presentation of the do's and the don'ts and the whys, the why nots, why we train at this age, why it's perfectly fine to train at this age, I'll have actually a special guest with me on Friday. One of my older clients. He is 88, and he is doing pull-ups. So he's a machine. So of course he's going to talk me up, but that's fine. But he is awesome. He's a perfect example for you guys to listen to and to go over training. Actually, he's going to turn 89 on the 23rd of November, and he is still going strong. So gets right out of the doctors and said, "I'm coming over to train." So he's a perfect example. I couldn't think of anybody better for you guys to listen to as well. Do you guys have any questions while you have me up here now? Yes.
When you say Friday, is that tomorrow?
That is next Friday, the 21st. What's the 21st? Yeah, the 21st. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope to see most of you there. And like I said, I'll go into a little more depth, a little more detail of the training, what I offer, what times it'll be offered, and the benefits and so forth of training. Yes.
To engage you, this would be an agreement between us and you, not with Growing Green Village?
Yes, but obviously we're working on more details. But you'll be working, communicating with everybody, but mostly me for the training. Yeah.
What about cost?
Cost, I will go over on Friday on the PowerPoint presentation, just so you guys have a little more specifics of the price. I'll basically be doing half hours or hours. Most of my clients right now do half hours. I can do plenty of things in half hour. Hour sometimes gets a little, so I tend to kind of sway you towards the half hours. Plus, people don't have a lot of time anymore. They just want to kind of get in, get out, and half hour seems to work the best. All right? All right, guys. It's nice meeting everyone, and I'll see everyone on Friday. All right, thank you.
Good afternoon. Couple quick updates from the clinic. We had announced recently that we would have a new provider in the clinic, Dr. Rice. We have spoken with Center for Success and Aging and just wanted to clarify what that would look like. She will be here on Asha's day off. As our needs grow and as more of you see them in the clinic, we'll get to have them more frequently and she could be here more present. But just as right now, she'll just be filling it. But I hope you get to meet her. I've worked with her with a couple days, and I think she'll be great for all of you. Wanted to mention our next vaccine clinic will be December 11th. So Harris Teeter is doing one of these every month. They're offering flu, COVID, shingles, RSV, and pneumonia. So if you need one of those vaccines, please call the clinic and we'll get you scheduled. And lastly, I wanted to mention LCS rolled out a wellness survey. If you live in the apartments, you received it. If you live in the cottages or patio home, you'll be receiving it in a couple weeks. So it's just a survey just to see what your needs are. The goal is to keep you independent. This survey is not to put a scarlet letter or red flag on your back saying you need to move, okay? Promise you. It's just to help you. It's to help you to let us see what resources we can have here at Rolling Green to help support you. So if you fill it out, we appreciate it. If you have questions, if you fill it out and you feel like you have some concerns, please call me and we can talk through it together. Thanks.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am a little bit taller, so I've got to bring that up. I feel like I haven't been here in a few months, but it's been a busy time in the health center. I'm going to start with announcing occupancy, and then we're going to go into some things that are just going on in the higher levels of care. So with occupancy at the moment, tomorrow we'll be at 100% occupancy in the health center. We're currently at 96% occupied, and then Cedars will also be 100% occupied tomorrow, so just a lot of moves happening. In EP, I feel like this is a great thing to say because we've come a long way with Evergreen Place and memory care. With the renovations and leading even through those renovations, we're currently at 95%. So I think if you've been here in previous months and previous years, you've actually seen that at less than 50% occupancy. So that really, the renovations have been successful, and Trina and the team have really led through that. So we're excited to see those come to a completion. If you have not been to Evergreen Place since the renovations were completed, we encourage you to do that. We did have a great independent living resident turnout with the events that we did in October. Hannah helped to lead those, and if you did not get the opportunity to see Evergreen Place at that time, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, to Hannah, or the admission team, and we'll be happy to show you that area. And then I want to talk about a award that was received for rehab. So every year, the U.S. Best News Journal report does a award for nursing homes across the country. So just to give you kind of a mindset, there's a little over 15,000 skilled nursing facilities across the country. That's a lot of skilled nursing facilities. And they go through, there's different things that they review. And a lot of it comes from the quality measures, and that is directly data from residents' charts that are submitted to CMS for payment. And through that, they review those to see, what they review our rehospitalization rate, they review our immunization rates, if people's ability to move has gotten better since coming into rehab. So they review all of those. There's around 17 quality measures that they review to look at these awards. So Rolling Green was awarded that award. There's around 19% of those 15,000 skilled nursing facilities across the country that receive those. So we're in the top 20% of the country, which I feel like is an amazing thing to say. But not only is this an award that we've received for the incoming year to 2026, this is the third year in a row that we've received that. So we're very happy about that. And it's a huge team accomplishment. A lot that goes into receiving that award. And then I want to wrap up with two things. So open enrollment, if you did not receive the letter that I put out in October, please let me know. We can get you a copy of that letter. But open enrollment started on October 15th and goes through December 7th. If you have any questions about your plan or what your plan may cover, I can help to answer those to the best of my ability, or the admission team can. But one thing that we have come across with our residents is sometimes when we move to a different level of care or we move to a different insurance, we're dropping insurance that we may need. For example, we had a resident in rehab a couple weeks ago, and she wound up dropping her secondary insurance, and she did not have Part B coverage as well. So she just had Part A. And she also canceled her Part D coverage. So really, she just had hospital coverage. So I would really encourage you to review the plan that you have, because if something happens, if you don't have a qualifying event, you may not be able to change that during the year. So if you have questions regarding your plan, I'd be happy to answer those. And then I want to read two Google reviews. So as you all know, social media is continuing to grow, and people review Google reviews, Yelp reviews, Indeed reviews before making a really big decision. And some people do that. You may have read reviews on Rolling Green Village before moving here. I know when I'm picking a restaurant and I've never eaten there, I typically read the Google reviews. But two that I want to read about are two residents that have admitted to the health center in the past year. And these residents are residents that were never in independent living. And we know that, when you're in independent living and you follow through the continuum, you really build a relationship with the team, you really build trust with the team. So when a resident moves from the outside, it's a big decision, especially when they're moving straight from home to a skilled nursing facility. It's a very big decision, not just for the resident, but also for the family. So I want to read these two reviews. So one is from a daughter, and she stated, 2 weeks ago, my 98-year-old mother has lived in the skilled nursing facility at RGV for around 8 months. The entire staff is in all departments is amazing. They treat her with the kindness, love, and respect they would give their own mother. I eat lunch with my mom regularly, and the food is consistently outstanding. The facility is spotless and well maintained. Mom arrived under hospice care and didn't appear to have much time left, and she has improved so much under their care that she will easily surpass 100. And she is discharged from hospice care, which is very rare to see. We're very happy to see that, but she's doing amazing. Her quality of life is the best it has been in years, and it's all due to the caring staff at RGV. Thank you to the entire RGV family. And then the second one is for a resident that's been here about 2 weeks. He moved from North Carolina, and he's just an amazing man. He had a connection with an independent living resident, and daughter talked to daughter, and then they wound up moving him here. And the daughter stated, "My dad has been in the health center at Rolling Green for a little over a month. Before he arrived, he had lost a lot of weight due to a recent hospitalization. The food is so good at Rolling Green, he's eating more than he's eaten in years." I think we all can feel that way. The food in the beautiful facility and the countless activities are not only the reasons to send your loved ones to Rolling Green, the caring and compassionate staff is the best reason. Then she named specifically our nurse manager, Vanessa Thomas. If you've interacted with her, she's the healthcare unit manager. Andra is a floor nurse, and then Iris is one of our CNAs. And all the other CNAs are wonderful. They genuinely care about my dad's well-being. And shout out to the activities lead, Alicia, for encouraging my dad to attend events. So I like to highlight those because sometimes when we're moving through the continuum and seeing higher levels of care, it can be discouraging. We all wish that we could age the way we want, and that doesn't happen with every person. So these are always encouraging to read. And then the last thing I have is just questions. Does anybody else have any questions or any questions for me?
If we're at capacity, have you had to reject?
No. So what we do is we work really closely with Shannon's team. So Shannon attends and lets us know when people need a higher level of care, if there's a need upcoming. For example, she emailed this morning and let us know there's a resident that's having surgery next week that's going to need a rehab stay. So really, because of the amount of volume that we do and the demand, it's a constant cycle. So whenever there's a need for independent living, we look at those discharges and then admit, but we've never had to turn a resident away. Any other questions? It's like playing musical chairs sometimes, but.
Do you accept residents that are not part of Rolling Green outside your Rolling Green family?
Yes, ma'am. So we actually accept, we are a open certificate of need through the state of South Carolina. So if a resident or a person that doesn't live at Rolling Green is in the hospital for a hip fracture and they need rehab, we receive that referral just like we would receive an independent living residence referral. And we accept them based on if they're appropriate for the community. We also accept outside residents for Evergreen Place and Cedars.
But do Rolling Green family have top priority?
Yes, they have precedence.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you all.
All right. Good afternoon again. Really good question. We do take care of a lot of folks, not just Rolling Green residents. They do have priority. We need to make sure that they have a payer source. So we need to make sure we accept their insurance if they don't have traditional Medicare. So yes, that's kind of something that sometimes folks don't know about Rolling Green Village. Did anybody not know that it was open enrollment? This is a joke. I heard somebody tell me their phone keeps ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing for these insurance companies that are trying to encourage you. So I want to put in a plug that traditional Medicare, we strongly believe, is the best insurance. Be mindful if you switch to a Medicare Advantage plan that your benefits may be a little different. And you may not notice that until you go into the hospital and need certain things. So just be careful with that change. We see a lot of residents that come to us and say, I want to stay longer. And you say, well, this is a decision by your insurance company. This is kind of out of our hands. We see a lot of appeals by families because they want their loved one to stay a couple days longer, but the insurance company says, it's time for you to go. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox there. But wanted to hit a couple of things. The personal trainer, having Adam here, I think there's a question in the resident survey, my voice matters. You know, that is feedback that we got from residents to say they would love to see us introduce a personal trainer. There is a fee, an additional fee that's involved for Adam's care, but that is something that residents gave us feedback. You know, we listened, and then we're working on a way to do that. In addition to the technology, Merit Technologies, I ran into Teresa this morning at the gym, and she said she's seen a spike in the number of people that are calling for the computer survey, the computer support that folks are needing with technology. So she said everybody's got really good feedback on the new gentleman that's helping out. So just want you to know that when you tell us things, we do listen. We can't do everything all the time, but we are listening for trends and for themes, and we try to incorporate as much as we can to improve your quality of life. Occupancy, Anna Grace talked about, 90% is really that mark that we try to achieve. So it's great that we go above 90%, can get to 95 or 98%. You know, there's going to be turnover. So to answer your question before, you know, with folks that are not able to come in, there usually is a good amount of turn, particularly in rehab. You know, folks are staying maybe 15 days. There'll be a room that opens up and then maybe it's filled. But there's opportunities that we have to be creative if the needs increase of folks. But we're extremely humbled to see our occupancy in all of those areas almost at 100%, which has been quite a while. We hope that it's going to continue that way because that helps us on the revenue side, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. And then U.S. News and World Report, that's a pretty big deal. So 3 years in a row is a really great accomplishment by the team. So let's jump into some of the financials. I want to talk about September. I did not report to those to you last time. September was a rough month for us, so we did not meet our goals for net operating income. And you might ask why. One of the primary reasons, we did have a bad debt write-off. We do have issues at times with bad debt, particularly with Medicare Advantage plans. Have you heard that before? They're looking for ways to not pay us for the care that we provide. So there are some things at times that go beyond the filing that we can't sort through, or they may reduce the amount that they pay us. So that's where there's some of those write-offs that we have. So there was a degree of bad debt write-off that impacted our revenues in September. On the expense side, we exceeded our planned goal for the expenses. That does come down to some temporary staffing that we utilized within the health center. We also had an inventory adjustment. We also had some extra work that was done outside on the grounds and some rental equipment. We also saw food costs that were a lot higher in the month than we had typically seen. So overall, that kind of contributed to it. So we did make money. We made $45,864, but we had planned to make $239. So that was the worst month of the year. We did see our revenues down a little bit. We had, I think, was it 12? Was it 12? 12 resident deaths in the month, which is hard to recover from, particularly in the licensed areas. So it was kind of a unique month. But if you want to move forward, we'll tell you October was a lot better. So as you see, we exceeded our goal and made $362,000 in that month. And as a 501c3, anything we make in excess of our revenue and expenses, our net operating income, goes back into the organization and allows us to keep working on improving the campus for you all here today. So on the operating revenue side, Lexi shared with me, we were 100% sold in all the apartments for a day. That changed, but for one day we had all the apartments that were 100% sold. So we do continue to see a really solid wait list and really solid occupancy. We had quite a few move-ins in the month of October. We have, I think, one more. There's one more this week, and I think there's another transfer next week. And so we do continue to see really great occupancy that's tied into the operating revenues that exceeded our goal. We also saw higher operating revenues in our health center and also in memory care. So that helps us there. Our expenses were just slightly above what we had planned. So that helped us to have a really good month, kind of made up for the month of September. Keep moving along. campus improvements. So I wanted to continue to give you an update. The chapel, we had a really great dedication last week. Really appreciated David's message. He's off today. We really did a great job. It's a beautiful space, and we really appreciate your support of that project and continued support of the work that we're doing there. David's super excited to have his own office. A lot of people are jealous. They think it's got amazing light and really neat built-ins, and I know he's excited about it. The Lakeside Shoreline Stabilization Project, we're going to do a little bit more of stone around the large lake. That's going to be worked on here in the next couple of days, next week. We paused it for a little bit because the temperatures are pretty cold. Once we do that, there'll be a new irrigation line that's installed to allow us to bring water irrigation to the new planting that we're going to start installing next week. So once that gets closer to a close, then we will open up the sidewalk over the dam from Lakeside over here. So that's why we've held off on opening that, because there still is going to be some equipment down in that area, and we didn't want residents to be around that equipment quite yet. But it shouldn't be too long. There's not a lot of work to be done there. But that's why we've not opened up that space. The Hoke-Smith Drive, that is also something we paused for the temperatures. We need to have the temperatures up a little bit, so we're hopeful next week to reevaluate and get that started, where we would cut out those roots that are in the ground, that are in the driveway, and replace some of that pavement. We are also going to be creating a handicap cutout that was pointed out by a resident that we missed at the stop sign for Creekside. The new sidewalk that's installed. We missed the opportunity to create that at the stop sign like we've done with other areas. So that's going to be something we work on as well with their equipment here. In addition to the drive, there's also going to be a cutout of the concrete speed bumps. So the ones that are deteriorating, we're going to take those out, and we're going to put in the regular plastic speed bumps that we have. So we'll be swapping the old out for something that's a little bit easier to manage, and we also hopefully going to reduce the number of speed bumps. There'll still be some, but maybe not have 2 at the back entrance, but maybe just 1. And maybe not have 2 at the front entrance, but maybe just 1. So we're going to work on that as well. We felt like that was a project that we could do when we have this equipment here. You kind of do a little bit of an add-on to make sure that we can address those things. Again, more resident feedback. Can't do it immediately, but we do listen, and we will work on these improvements for you all. Next slide. Just reminding folks of the spaces that we're working on and improving. And the next slide here, the Middle Pond plantings next week. You'll see Brightview maybe Wednesday. He said midweek. They will start with the landscaping plan that runs along Hoke-Smith Boulevard and also along the sidewalk that was reinstalled that goes from Hoke-Smith down towards the lake. If you would go to the next slide, Lindsay, thank you. I want to kind of point out this is Hoke-Smith right here, and then this is the new sidewalk that was reinstalled. There were some questions to say, why did we take that out? It was just temporary while all the equipment was coming down here, but that was reinstalled, and all this landscaping is going to be along Hoke-Smith, but then also along that sidewalk. There's a number of trees that are going to be replanted. They're not going to be as large as the others, but we are planting trees. There is going to be a certain number of perennials that won't be installed right now because the recommendation for Brightview is to wait till the spring, but there is still a lot of work that we can do, and Scott from Brightview recommended that this is the good time to plant trees now. So there will be that started. I've been really intentional with Skip and with Brightview to say we got to get this going. We don't want that hill to sit there for months and it to be like that through the spring. So we will see that getting started hopefully Wednesday, weather permitting. And this gives you just a little bit more. This is all going to be posted on the portal. You can take a look at it in a little bit more detail. The Village Green Courtyard, we did meet recently with Holly and the group, and it does continue to be a project that we're going to focus on in early 2026. So that's something I want to make sure we didn't lose track of. And we'll shift gears to phase 2. We have 94 sales as of today. Got another one this morning, so 94 out of 116 is over 80% of those units that are sold, which is really great progress. One thing I failed to put into the slide deck, we're gonna have a town hall. You'll be receiving an invite in the highlights that is scheduled for next week. So a week from today. No, a week from yesterday, the 19th. So next Wednesday, we're gonna have an opportunity to meet here. That's actually gonna be our 7th town hall, number 7, to talk about what's going on. Lucas will be here, and Clancy and Faze, the construction folks, between Matthew Prater, a new gentleman named Nick Dalton, and also Fig will be here to talk about what to expect when it comes to construction getting started. So that will be next Wednesday in the afternoon. So you'll get a flyer with your highlights tomorrow morning. So make sure if you're able to join us, it's going to be a good opportunity to see what's going to be changing and also to ask questions of what to expect. Just want to give you a little bit of update on the timeline. So in September, the board did vote to approve. We finalized the guaranteed maximum price in October. We conducted tax-exempt bond financing, a pricing exercise we completed on the 30th. And we're looking to close on the 19th, so next week. We had a really good response. There was over 12 investing groups that responded to the bond offering that happened on October 30th. So that's really solid. Excuse me. The approximate kind of weighted average of the bonds was about 6% interest rate. That's scheduled for I think 30 or 35 years. In our models, we planned for about a 6.5% interest rate. So we came in under that, which again helps that total forecasting model look a lot better, having half a percentage point better interest rate than what we anticipated, what we modeled for a number of years. So that's a good thing as well. All right, next, resident satisfaction survey. So it was a really good survey. Wanted to highlight a few things here. 93% satisfaction is pretty good, I think. We had 495 people respond. That's a lot of people. Now, last time we did this, we got a 97%. I don't know how we did that. Who was here in 2023? 97%. That's a really good score. I was kind of personally hoping for maybe 94, 95, but I'll take a 93. It's still a really solid score. It's 7 points higher than LCS benchmark or LCS folks, LCS Communities Life Care Services that completed a survey. And it's approximately 8 points higher than non-life care service communities that completed a similar survey. So it's again much above the average as what we were hoping for. Stay there real quick. So I want to talk about there's a really neat new feature. It's a artificial intelligence summary of all the comments. I forget the exact number of pages that we had, but it summarized some of the key points. So the things that residents appreciate, the top 3: friendly community atmosphere, dining services and food quality, and activities and social engagement. And then the top 3 areas for improvement: dining room staff and service, dining room temperature, and parking availability. So, as we're talking about parking, that's going to be a big deal that we talk about next week. I've asked a small number of folks to visit with me about that, but we'll talk further about it. We'll kind of give you a feel for how parking is going to change with the town hall next week. Curious to do a straw poll. How many parking spots do you think we have here at Rolling Green? Since we're talking about parking. Give me a number. 500. That's a really good number. 513. 513. So that's a lot of parking spots. I never knew that, but I asked the civil engineer. He went through and counted them. And he also gave us a feel for that. Includes handicap spots, and we'll go through that at the town hall, and we'll kind of give everybody kind of a feel for what that's going to look like. It is going to go down with construction, and then it will go up once we complete construction. But 513, I never had an idea that's how many spots that we had.
How many of those are staffed?
How many? Those are the total parking spots that we have.
How many of them are staff?
We don't have them quote unquote labeled for staff. But this main parking lot here is a lot of the staff, and then back here as well. We have 148 staff members total, but they're not working every single day. So depending upon the varied departments. But we can definitely start to slice and dice a little bit. But it's something we're going to keep talking about, as it's kind of an area of focus. So this is just a highlight of the survey. Right here shows you the number of people. So we had a 79% response rate, which is pretty good. 495 out of 625. Keep moving along to the next one. This will give you the snapshot of the different domains. Reception concierge, 99. That's really good. This talks about the 7 points above LCS, and then this is the 8, and in some ways 11 above the industry. And then this section here kind of compares us to last time, how we did. So green is positive changes and red is some negative changes. With the lowest score being the board of directors at 85. Keep going. The thing here, this will be posted for you all to see. Satisfaction by length of stay, by age. I thought this was interesting, satisfaction by type of residence as well. So cottages ranked us 96, patio homes 94, and apartments 92. And it'll give you the number of people that respond in each of those areas. So move along to the next. Before I get to that, I wanted to read kind of a really neat quote at the end of the feedback summary. I don't have it posted, but we can add it to the slide deck. But at the end of all the comments, it kind of gives you this overall summary. And it's interesting, it's spoken from a resident's point of view. It says, "We are grateful to call Rolling Green Village our home and appreciate the dedication of the staff who work hard to make this a wonderful place to live. The sense of community, quality of life, and peace of mind we experience here are invaluable. While we've highlighted areas for improvement, we recognize the challenges involved in managing a growing community with diverse needs. We hope this feedback helps in continuing to enhance our shared home." I highlighted this sentence because I think it's really important. "Our greatest concern is maintaining the personal touch and quality of services that make Rolling Green Village special as the community grows." And I definitely share that concern. "We look forward to working together to address these concerns while preserving what we love about our community." So that's artificial intelligence generated feedback from all the comments that you all gave, and then it kind of spits that out. It's pretty interesting. So I wanted to thank everyone for the Sage Age, the time they spent with Sage Age, our advertising and marketing firm. They were here last week. They visited with a handful of residents. The intent behind that is to provide some real, authentic footage, photos and videos for our website. And we do that every couple of years. We meant to do it last year, but we didn't. We held off because we knew that the chapel was going to be coming, and we also knew that Evergreen Place, the memory carrier, was going to be improved. So we wanted to get some new pictures in those spaces to add to the website as far as who we are. But thank you for the handful of folks. They did resident interviews, staff interviews, pictures, and visit with some family members. And we got really great feedback from the folks of Sage Age. They came into town pretty quickly. They kind of left kind of quickly because they were worried about their flights going home. One gentleman left a couple days early because his wife was like, "I can't have you stranded over the weekend." I think he got home okay, Mike. I haven't heard. But so it was a really great week. And again, wanted to thank everyone for their involvement and being a part of it. And it's going to take a few months before they capture all that, and they'll kind of sprinkle it around and post it on our website. But Sage Age is our firm that helps us with our social media content. They help us with our website, and they help us with a lot of our collateral and the information that we share with folks. So that's a pretty big deal for us. So it was great to get that feedback. Okay, I think that was it. Who has the first question?
Just wondering, are all the permits in place for the expansion?
Yes, there's a team, LCS Development, that gets all the permitting squared away. I think there are still a few things that they're working on. I think they always kind of come down to the wire, but that's where we lean on the folks from the development team and also from the architecture team to collaborate with the construction team to get all of those squared away. They have a full schedule. We have a call pretty much weekly. Be honest with you, I let them handle that, but I do kind of pick up on a few things. I know Greenville County, there was one thing that they submitted, and they're like, well, we gotta wait to get you feedback. So there are some delays with Greenville County, as everybody knows. They're growing, and sometimes they're not as quick. But yes, permitting everything I'm aware of, it looks good. We're planning for the mobilization to be December 1st, where they'll start to bring equipment in. So it's just a few weeks away.
I just want to thank you for the new trees that we got between E and D building. We've got 14 new trees in there. They're going to be beautiful. They're going to be a cherry tree, I understand. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, when we built so this is the BE courtyard for folks that are aware. We visited with a couple residents. We've taken out a couple of trees, and we also put up new outdoor decks, and we recognized that we needed to improve that space. So collaboration with a couple of residents and planning that out and working with trees upstate to plant those trees in the last few weeks. They're not super small, but they're not super tall. They're somewhere in between, and give a little bit of time. But yes, thank you for pointing that out. And we do have a landscape plan for that courtyard. This is the first step in that. We want to finish the Village Green courtyard first. That's a big project. And then look at that courtyard as well. So speaking of courtyards and landscape, we also had Clemson here recently, and they've had some of their students, the graduate students. They're going to help us with some ideas for the new assisted living courtyard, and that will also inform our current landscape architect, Holly. So we definitely want to keep improving these spaces that we have, and if we take out trees, we want to try to put some back. June.
Yes, this has to do with the food service charges. I've read this and I've reread it and I don't get it. Guest meals of residents in the apartments, cottages, and patio homes. Food service charges will be added to the resident account and will be based on the menu items selected. And then number 2 is buffet for residents in the apartments, cottages, and patio homes. Food service charges will be added to the resident's account and will be based on the menu items selected. Is someone going to be standing there looking at what you pick out and then put a charge on your account? I'm sorry, I don't understand this.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The first part of it, this is going back to our shift from buying meals in advance, points in advance, to then paying as you go. So I think that hopefully answers the first question. So based upon what you order, the points are going to be correlated to that. That will be added to your account. You're right, on the buffet side, the second point, I believe there's just a flat rate for the buffet. So that shouldn't apply to the buffet, but it really applies more to when you're coming in, you're paying as you go, just like a restaurant, depending upon what you order has certain points. That will be multiplied by that multiplier to then create the charge. That charge will go on that person's bill, like a regular restaurant. Does that clarify?
Sort of.
You don't look clarified, June. The buffet doesn't apply. It doesn't apply to the buffet. That's incorrect. It should not have stated that. The buffet is just a one charge. It should be a straightforward charge. So I think that's a mistake we need to correct. Go ahead.
Sometimes on the buffets, depending on what you have or what they decide on your buffet, it could not be 10 credits, it could be 8 credits. I think that's what they were trying to say.
Okay. So Rose, you want to clarify that?
It just depends what kind of food is on the buffet at that time.
Okay, go ahead. You can repeat that again, please, with the mic. Thank you, Rose.
Okay. It depends what's on your buffet. If you have high items on your buffet, it'll be 10 credits. If you have lower items on your buffet, they usually charge about 8 credits. Sometimes people just have soup and salad. That's only 5 credits. So it just depends on what they decide your buffet is for that day. Does that make sense, Jim?
Thank you, Rose. Next time if I can't answer a question, I'm just going to give the mic to Rose. She really does know everything. She is so humble. She's amazing. She doesn't like to hear that, but she really is. We appreciate you, Rose. Yes. Other questions that you all have?
The resident survey looks great. Are you going to post that on the portal so that if we're interested in reviewing that in more detail, we can see it?
So we're going to post what I put up here. There's 140 pages. There's a lot of comments and things like that. Yes. So I feel like that's a pretty decent summary there. We're also going to make sure the department heads get the summary for their sections, and then they're going to work internally on their action plans and the feedback that they heard. But beyond that, I think that's where you can, ask individually, what are some of the things that they heard from the feedback? And those department heads, those department leaders can give you, this is what I learned and this is what we're going to do different. So don't want to put the 144 pages out there, but we do want to give you the high level and see where folks rank. So that's kind of keeping a high level, not getting too far in the weeds.
Just the summary.
Yes. Other questions that folks have? Somebody, I saw some people walking on the new sidewalk up front. That was kind of neat to see as we're coming in. So appreciate everybody's recognition and support with one calls and closing and shutting down and closing. We really try to minimize that. Skip is in Iowa right now, actually flying back right now, hopefully, from a conference that he attended. But we'll get you some more information next week. We're really hopeful that we can get a lot of this completed before Thanksgiving, particularly with the install, and trying not to close down the roads. We know how inconvenient that is. Other questions? Go ahead, Anna.
There are 2 questions or comments from somebody that couldn't be here today.
Okay.
One is, why can't the landscaping company plant the daffodils? Why are the residents being asked to do it?
Okay. That was a project that that a handful of residents wanted to take on, so they volunteered and said, we'd like to do this. My understanding is that someone from the Rolling Green Village team, I think it was Brad, actually used the Rolling Green Village equipment to dig like a trench to allow or create the space to allow the daffodils to be planted. So it was kind of a project that was residents initiated that we collaborated with, and we did help some, but we may not have done all of it. Does that answer?
Yeah, I'll pass that along.
Okay.
And the other one was, have you considered putting a handrail next to the new sidewalk along Hoke Smith?
We've heard that question. We want to get the landscaping in and complete the project and then step back and see. I think it's something that we didn't initially have planned, but we think that some of the landscaping will kind of provide a little bit of a barrier and make people feel a little differently about that. But once we get it all installed, we will reevaluate that. But initially it wasn't a part of that plan. But we're open to looking at it again.
I have a question. When I asked one time if the bus could go to a funeral, I was told no, because if you do it for one person, you have to do it for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the memorial services are held here on the grounds. which doesn't make transportation an issue. But if the funeral or memorial service is out in the community, a lot of people that might want to go can't go.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the buses are scheduled for a lot of things, and you can't just cancel that. But if the bus is available, why wouldn't we be able to go to funerals or memorial services?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I don't have a great answer, but I do think it's something that we should rethink about. We did just put another deposit down for a third small bus that should be delivered in maybe February, January or February. We'll have to see the timing. The whole intent is to get rid of the big bus because it requires a commercial driver's license and that has restrictions. So having that third small bus will be helpful. And maybe that could be an option, just as long as folks know it's not always going to be a given. I do agree with, if you do something once, then there's this expectation that's set that we may not always be able to accommodate. So, but Amy, go ahead.
Sometimes it's easier to think. It's easy to think that just because the bus is available, that means that we can use it. There's a lot that goes into planning to use the bus, making sure that we have drivers, things like that. So I really want to be able to go to memorial services. I really do. But there's a lot more involved in it. I'm not saying we can't, but that's just, I don't know. We'll have to discuss that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to think that just because the bus is here, that means that it's usable, because I do have to have drivers that are able to come and drive it and things like that. So just wanted to put that out there.
I got time for one more question. I got to scoot, and if I don't catch it now, then I'm happy to visit with you at another time.
Is there going to be anything on the portal about the survey for areas that were not quite up to standard that we were concerned with?
Like I said, we would post this here.
We can't read that.
When you get onto the portal, you can blow it up and you can see that. And I'm happy to give you a copy if we need to print it off at the front desk if you want a copy of it. But yeah, 85 was the lowest, all the way up to 99. There's a requirement from Life Care Services that if you have an action plan, it's only required at 79% or below. We're not going to just take that approach, but we're going to have each individual department look at the feedback. But if there's any individual feedback you want to give, I'm always open to receiving that. But sharing all the answers to, there's like 4 or 5 questions for each department. I feel like it's getting a little bit into the weeds, but again, each department could give you, you could visit with that person to kind of go through it individually. All right. Well, it's 4 o'clock. I do have to scoot. So thank you all for your time and your ongoing support. Thank you.